Right now, as we do on Tuesdays, we are going to talk movies with Mike Mayo. If you want to see more of Mike's movie reviews, check out his books, anything like that, go to mike-mayo.com. And if you have a review request, text it over to us, 846-TALK, 846-8255. We'll have one coming up next week. Don't have time for them this week because we're a little under the gun with some other things we've got to do this morning. So we'll be talking about a movie out on Apple TV+. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, yes. And this is a strange movie, and I'm going to be a little circumspect about what I say about it because it's one of those movies, frankly, the whole premise and plot are so ridiculous that I'm embarrassed to actually describe them, and any of our listeners think this is actually a serious movie. It is clear from the get-go that nobody involved in this movie really, decided that this was a great work of art. They were just kind of goofing around with it. It's kind of a low-budget movie in a weird sort of way, but a very expensive-looking low-budget movie. And before we go any farther, okay, the title of this movie is The Gorge, Gorge. It is a science fiction action thriller rated PG-13, and I believe you have a clip to play from it.
I do. Here's a bit of the trailer here.
There she is. West Tower Observation Post. Your home for the next 365 days. There is no outside communication here.
What's that on the other side?
That is East Tower. Contact with the other side is strictly forbidden.
So what's the mission? To keep people from going in the gorge?
No. You need to stop what's in the gorge from coming out.
Ooh, booga booga.
Yeah. Okay. The guy that was doing all the talking there was setting things up, and the gorge is this kind of out in this wooded land. We don't know exactly where it is. That's part of the deal here. Nobody knows exactly where it is. And
oh, they've got shield technology, so no one can see it.
Stop it now! If you get me laughing before we even get started, we'll never get through this.
All right, sorry, I'll be better.
But it's this gorge, and the two towers he's talking about, these two big concrete towers, and the guy who was asking the questions there was Miles Teller. He is a long range sniper. Who's quite deadly, and he's been cashiered out of the Marines. He's kind of burned out and really not in very good shape. And he's been hired by Sigourney Weaver to go to this place that they're going to take him out to the gorge. He's going to stay there for 1 year. He's going to live in this tower, and the gorge beneath him is covered with fog, so he can't really see down into it. But he knows there are all kinds of heavy guns around to shoot at whatever is trying to come out of the gorge. And then on the other side of the gorge, there is another tower, and in that one is Anya Taylor-Joy. She, too, is a long-range sniper. We know this, and a Russian long-range sniper. And, of course, even though they have been forbidden to communicate with each other, they do. They're looking, looks like about, several hundred yards between them. But, of course, they have binoculars, and they start kind of flirting long distance. And, I also need to mention that the poetry of T.S. Eliot figures... Stop it. Is also part of it. And then in the second half of the movie, we kind of learn what is in the gorge. And I don't want to say too much because that's kind of the whole point of it, is what's going on in there. And I don't want to give anything away, even though it is just so silly and ridiculous. But essentially, it's these two characters getting to know each other, flirting, finally getting together. That's not a big spoiler, I don't think. But then it also gets real violent with lots of big special effects. And this is the kind of thing that I think would not work in a theater because if the special effects were too big, you would see how phony they are. But even on a big screen TV at home, they look good enough, and if you can accept the silly premise, you can get involved in this. I mean, it's no dumber than most big action movies. Let's put it that way. And overall, I enjoyed it. I stayed awake. Oh, the other thing I should mention, they do throw in little shout-outs to the two stars' previous hits, Queen's Gambit and Whiplash, and I won't say anything more than that. Again, if you like Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, and they're both very appealing young actors, I think, I think you'll like this. It's a PG-13 rating for language and violence, and like I say, if you've got it's streaming on Apple Plus, and if you've got Apple TV already, it's free. This is certainly not a reason, if you've been contemplating getting it, don't do it for this. But it's an okay 2 hours plus evening's entertainment.
There you go. And yet, you mentioned the Hollow Men and all of the T.S. Eliot references, and it turns into really kind of more of a romance. It looks like to me than anything else.
It is sort of. It's kind of an action romance. Again, we have successfully not told the stuff that we shouldn't tell. So,
all right.
I think if any of our listeners are intrigued by this, give it a look. If this just sounds so stupid that you really can't believe anyone would ever watch it, you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, as I think just from the trailer, as Mike says, if you have Apple TV Plus, hey, go ahead and watch it. And if you still have the free 7 days or something like that, or you just bought an iPad, you've got a couple of months free, go for it. But it's not worth $10.
Right, exactly.
There you go. All right. Well, Mike, thank you very much. We're going to cut this off a little bit early here so we can get a weather checkup after the break. So we will talk again next week.
Thanks, Mike.
With a listener review as well.
Yes, indeed. We will get the listener request in, I promise, next week.
All right. Great. Mike, thank you very much.
Take care.